We are now joined with Dr. Luke, who will speak to us about hypnotherapy, and we're also going to talk about the psychology of weight management. So thank you for joining us here.
My pleasure of being here.
Fantastic. So as I understand, hypnosis is something that people have historically thought about with respect to smoking. Now, can you share with the viewers really what is hypnosis?
Hypnosis is really a heightened sense of awareness, and a lot of people figure when they're hypnotized it's going to be something weird or strange, like they're going to be hallucinating.
I think a lot of people are afraid of it.
There are a lot, yeah, absolutely. But really what it is a heightened state of awareness, and it's a sense of, I don't know if you've ever gone through the day and you've just got that flow going in your day,
yes,
where everything's just falling into place and there's no specific rhyme or reason to it, but you just feel good for no reason.
Sure.
That's a form of hypnosis. Or if you're trying to stay up late one night watching a late night movie on a Saturday and you really want to catch the end of the movie, but you find yourself, your eyes closing, and then you wake yourself up,
yes,
and you battle that sleep, that's a form of hypnosis. We call it fractionation, where you're going in and out. So it's just really a sense of when you're really relaxed and you're open to suggestions,
okay,
without any barriers.
Okay, that's excellent. So, you know, because today in our modern world, everybody's really busy and a lot of people do have barriers. So in that kind of a setting, here in Ottawa, we were just chit-chatting about how popular is hypnosis. So that's my question to you.
Yeah, it was pretty popular. I mean, the #1 reason most people would come to see a hypnotist is to stop smoking. And they've done various statistics, certainly in the UK, where they've listed the top 10 ways people try to quit smoking, from nicotine patches to aversion therapy, and hypnosis is rated the most successful, where like our system, we have like a 90% success rate, and
okay,
hypnosis across the board is like about a 50% success rate in about an hour to quit people, help people to quit smoking once and for all.
Excellent. So with respect to weight and hypnosis, what is the research connecting the two?
Absolutely. Well, I've been a personal trainer and involved in fitness for about 11 years, and it would always frustrate me because I'd get these clients that really want to lose weight, and they'd come in and we'd give them the most fantastic sessions. I'd write a whole bunch of nutrition plans for them, stuff that had worked for me and for other clients, and I knew that it would work. But they'd come back in a month later, 2 months later, and the scale wouldn't be going down. And when I would ask them, you know, what's going on here? And it was always when they were out of my care or outside of the gym that they had the sugar cravings, or they were emotional eaters and they ate to make themselves feel better, or, you know, if they were feeling bad, or to make themselves even feel better at a party. And it was really getting to grips with that emotional eating. And a lot of time when people have an issue that I found with overeating or being overweight, they think about food most of the day, except for when they actually eat food. When they're actually eating food, they're not thinking of food. And generally when we overeat, it's completely unconscious, it's completely subconscious mind, just kind of trying to fuel our emotions. So it's really about becoming aware of what we're eating and why we're eating too much.
Okay, that's a fabulous tip, because I know that there are different categories of why people eat, and I think the biggest one that people have difficulty with is that emotional eating category. So let's say that a client does have emotional eating, and they do it because you know, they associate food with comfort. So can you help our viewers understand how can they help themselves?
Absolutely. What's worked for me and a lot of my clients is, as soon as you say, okay, I'm never going to eat chocolate cake again, then all you do, you've got a part of your brain called your RAS, your reticular activating system, that it's like if you buy a new red dress,
yes,
and no one's got this red dress, and suddenly you buy the red dress, and then wherever you travel that day, you see a bunch of women with a very similar red dress that you didn't notice it before. It's that part of the brain that switches on, and it starts to look for things. So if you say, okay, I'm going to quit smoking or quit eating chocolate cake, your mind starts seeing chocolate cake everywhere, starts seeing the cigarettes everywhere.
Focus on it.
You start to focus, and
yes,
it starts to drive you crazy. And then you try and use your willpower, but of the strongest willpower in the world, you might go a week or 3, and then we break, because we're human beings, and then we don't just eat a slice of chocolate cake, we eat the whole damn cake.
Yes. So that's where the 80-20 rule comes in, that it's important to think about this as a long lifestyle journey, and that we're not necessarily looking to lose, drop 2 sizes in a week. It's just not feasible for long-term maintenance. So
absolutely.
That's fantastic. Now, we've got some email questions here as well.
Okay.
So if you're open to that,
yes.
We have a viewer who has emailed us, what other aspects of my life do I need to look at in order to be successful in my weight journey relative to sleep?
Good question. First of all, with any goal, it's about determining where you are today.
Yes.
And where you want to be in the future. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. It matters where you are today and where you want to be. So if it's a weight loss goal, determine, okay, how much do I weigh today? Weigh 200 pounds. How much would I like to lose? 20 pounds. What's realistic? 1 to 2 pounds of pure fat loss a week is absolutely realistic without starving yourself or doing yourself any harm. And just really, I mean, if sleep is an issue as well, really coming off of the caffeinated products.
That's a big one.
Definitely,
yes.
Definitely after
yes.
like 4 o'clock, and any high sugar meals that may kind of wake you up. And even there's been some studies done where they say if you do very strenuous exercise just before bed, half the people can relax and sleep fantastically, and the other half of the people, they're jacked up for the rest of the night, and they just can't, they can't fall asleep. So kind of determining, what kind of person you are, but
exactly.
Those are some things you can do, definitely.
What I would love to share with you and the viewers is that what I've seen is when a person is getting less than 7 hours of sleep, what tends to happen is cortisol rises about a half an hour after waking, and it dips a bit after lunch, and then it should fall off nicely, getting you ready for sleep. But if you're a person that's always on the go, your adrenal glands are very tired, then what happens is the cortisol takes longer to rise. It rises later in the day, so those are the people that need 2 or 3 cups of coffee to get going. And then what happens is it never really falls off, getting you ready for sleep. So you're waking up every 3 to 4 hours, and this really has an impact on weight because, of course, when cortisol remains high for too long, we get weight deposition around the middle. And so again, if you're drinking too much coffee, that's really important to really cut back on that.
Here's something really interesting. I was addicted to caffeine up until January this year, and I'm like, it made me grumpy, it made me a bad boyfriend, and it would jack me up, and I was just being an unpleasant human being.
Sure.
So I'm like, you know what, I need to come off of the caffeine, and I figured I was going to have lows, and it was going to be withdrawal. Not at all.
No,
I feel a lot better.
Yes,
yeah, a lot more energy and a lot better, more pleasant, stable moods.
Absolutely. So a tip if you are drinking coffee is to come off of it gradually, because you will possibly have headaches and things as you're coming off. But in addition, you can also have liquid B vitamin, especially first thing in the morning, and that will help balance your adrenals and bring them up nicely and gently. Another question from an emailer is water intake. How does water impact weight?
Interesting, yeah. A lot of time I would see people who would claim to have water, they would hold in a lot of water retention, and one of the best ways of getting over water retention without any hardcore medication is to actually drink more water, because the more water you drink, the more it flushes out of your system. So I'd recommend drinking more water. It doesn't have to be bottled water, it can be filtered water, but just drink more of it to get out of your system, because your body's 73% water. And I think they've actually proven that if you're dehydrated by 1%, you start to lose mental cognition.
Yes.
If you're dehydrated by 2%, you start to lose a lot of strength and stamina, and 3% is fatal, you can die. So water is absolutely crucial.
Yes, and we've definitely seen that in the 7-day detox the week. Okay, another email question is, I am overweight, or pardon me, am I overweight just because I don't exercise or eat properly, or is it in my genes to be overweight?
Interesting question. Again, I hear that a lot of times. People, well, I'm overweight because my mum was overweight, my dad was overweight, and I haven't seen any consistent science or data that says just because your mum or your dad or your grandmother was overweight, you're going to be. But I do think it plays a part. I believe it plays a part that if you see your mum or dad or role models eating a lot of junk food, and then you unconsciously start to model them, you're going to start eating it. But I think that if you make that decision that you want to be different, You can be different, and you don't have to follow that. So I don't believe that just because everyone in your family may be overweight that you have to be.
Exactly. I definitely would agree with that. And I know that they were researching a hormone called leptin, which they found to be one of the messengers for shutting off the signal of eating. And what they realized is, they were all excited about that, but what they realized was there's many, many messengers. Some are genetically predetermined, but that we can influence them.
Absolutely.
So, yes, important factor. Okay, another question. I exercise regularly, but I am no longer losing weight. And so what's going on here?
Excellent question. A lot of time people will keep doing the same workout over and over again, and there's the definition of a crazy person is somebody who keeps doing the same thing over and over again, expects a different result. Change up your program. Do something different. One of the world's greatest trainers, a guy called Charles Poliquin, says you should change your program in some way every 3 weeks.
Thank you so much. We've had a wonderful day here talking about weight, and so in order to understand weight, we want to just summarize. Make sure you get your hormones tested. Make sure you have at least 7 hours of sleep. Green tea has definitely been shown to be helpful in weight loss, and a healthy BMI is really important versus just weight alone. So thank you for joining us on this popular topic. And to summarize, we've learned the results of our 7-day detox challenge, the most popular weight books, video options. We've been cooking in the kitchen with craving ideas and sugar alternatives, great fitness, and we look forward to having everyone here again. We're going to be speaking about a wonderful topic of travel. So join us again, and we'll see you next time.
Excellent.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line at 613-759-8622 or email us your comments.